much pressure is on Mbappe to win a trophy with Real Madrid and it being the Champions League?
It's massive, right? What world, if you'd have told me, if you told any of us when he made this move and left PSG, when he did, the PSG side that were in the semifinal of the Champions League. And let's not forget that how that semifinal went was Kylian Mbappe not being clinical enough. Kylian Mbappe not willing to do the extra and go the extra mile to see his PSG side through to a final that would have pit them against Real Madrid. Then he gets this dream move of his, lifelong dream, to go to Madrid. He's on the verge of going trophyless in his first 2 seasons. Madrid fans wouldn't be happy with it. They're barely happy with him right now, which is mad because you think of the amount of goals that he's had, but there are a faction of Madrid fans that do argue that maybe Real Madrid may have been better off without Kane Mbappe. I know it's mad, but it's not my words, it's some of theirs. So there's a bit of discontent right now with the big Frenchman.
It hurts in particular for Mbappe. He leaves Madrid, or he joins Madrid after they win the Champions League. He leaves PSG. They win the Champions League without him. It's a tough couple years in this competition for him. Though his individual excellence is unquestioned, he's got to deliver this week.
Who would you argue has more momentum going into this game, Jeff? Because I feel like in the last 30 minutes of the first leg, we could argue it was Real Madrid. Do you think that still stands today?
Yeah, 100%. Again, I was thinking of our rankings of the ties that could turn around, the most intriguing. If we put Atleti Barca first, this is definitely number 2. And it's not a million miles behind for me, Hannah. This could swing massively. The chances created, we can talk about reasons why and storylines to watch in a bit. But I think they'll go there. It's not about momentum, because if you think in their 2 respective leagues, obviously Bayern Munich, they've got a cigar roll and carpet slippers, so they're fine. These boys, they're trailing in Barcelona's dust.
Yeah.
It's over. So you could argue for these, same as Barcelona, it's or bust, isn't it? Simple as that.
Yeah.
This is it. This is give it your best shot, boys. And it's a similar problem they face, because Barcelona, they're not like Atleti. Bayern have the attacking prowess, the players and the ability to sucker them in. They could rip Real Madrid apart if Real Madrid go too strong too early in the game. But it's another great tie.
Yeah, very entertaining matchup. And you mentioned storylines to watch, so why don't you get us started with your one you're going to be watching out for?
Well, it refers to the chances. Manuel Neuer. I always say you can never be too critical of your team if they've been beaten and the opposition goalkeeper is man of the match. So you're doing something right, aren't you? Now, in this game, he made 9 saves. That's his highest number in the last 5 seasons, okay? Including 3 each from Mbappe and from Vinny as well. If Bayern Munich allow Real Madrid that many chances again, can he produce a performance of that level again? Now, he's at his peak in terms of goalkeeping, but he's 40 years of age. Now, there was nothing to suggest he wasn't like a 28-year-old in the last tie, but you can't always rely on your goalkeeper every single time. And if I'm Bayern Munich, I'd be worried if he was as busy as last time. Equally, he's got it in his locker to produce a similar performance. So I'm intrigued in that battle, him against Real Madrid.
And particularly with Real Madrid not having Thibaut Courtois, because both of those keepers are liable to win a match on their own. Courtois, I'd say more so, just given the ages and where they've been and what he's done in the Champions League. But he's not playing. So that is such an advantage for Bayern Munich in that if the chances are equal, you're backing your team to get the goals in rather than worrying about Courtois standing on his head, because there's no disrespect to the backup, but he's not Courtois. Courtois, I think, is the best in the world. Neuer is not far off, and what he did in the first leg was a best-in-the-world type of performance. So I think just the goalkeepers in these single matches are very interesting. And that brings me to mine. Can you even slow this Bayern attack down? It'd be nice to have Courtois as the last line of defense, because he does a lot of inexplicable saves and he can paper over a whole lot of cracks. You look at this Bayern Munich team, these individual players, unbelievable. These are some of the best players in the world, forming the best attacking unit in the world right now. They have 139 combined goals in 40 matches in the Bundesliga and the Champions League. I'll say that again, 139. It is a team that has scored 2+ goals in 13 of their last 14 games, 22 of their last 24. So Madrid are going to Munich and knowing it is almost a non-chance of keeping a clean sheet. So you're already at a deficit, and you're already thinking, well, Bayern are probably going to score, if not one, maybe multiple. What do we need to do going into this game to get there? Madrid is not a team that has kept many clean sheets. They have none in their last 6. Their last one was against Manchester City in the Champions League, and that was their only one in their last 11. There's going to be goals. So if Bayern Munich, even if they do give up a lot of chances, Jeff, like you said, all they need to do is score 1 or 2, and this is a team that always scores more than 1 or 2.
Yeah, when I look at football in the Champions League, football is a feeling, right? And with Real Madrid, there's always this feeling that the tie is never over. It doesn't matter the goals, and there's a mentality complex that even though Bayern got the first leg victory, history says that Real Madrid have been mentally more astute and mentally own Bayern Munich as an institution, right? So the key for me and the big storyline I'm looking at is we talk about the significance of yellow cards in this quarterfinal matchups, right? The biggest loss for Real Madrid was Aurelien Tchouameni getting that yellow carded, going to be suspended for it. So my big question and my big storyline is what's going to be the Madrid midfield makeover? The number one person, the number one focus is Jude Bellingham. He has to start. And you said it, that of course he has history against Bayern, playing for Borussia Dortmund and playing well against Bayern Munich. But the big puzzle piece that Arbeloa has to figure out is who is he going to put in that defensive midfield position? My big thing for me, and I know a lot of people fancy him going forward, but the one player that I wouldn't put in is Eduardo Camavinga. I know he's the like-for-like replacement. I watched their match against Girona. He was shocking. Shocking technically, shocking mentally, and I'm a big fan of Camavinga. I think he's got really high ceiling. I remember watching him at Rennes in Ligue 1 when he came through the ranks and got that move to Real Madrid. But as of late, and the Mallorca match can prove it, he just seems like he's a fish out of water. He just seems like his focus hasn't been there. And so for me, I would love to see him roll the dice, Arbeloa, and maybe throw Fede Valverde in there in that defensive midfield position. But then you have a midfield of, for sure, Arda Güler starts, for sure Jude has to start, and for sure Valverde has to start. The X factor is who does he put in to be that last person in that midfield?
Do you think whoever he puts in has to be more defence-minded or attack-minded?
In that number 6 role?
Yeah.
Defense-minded. Because you know Jude...
Even though they're chasing the tie.
Jude is going to get forward. You have to respect a Bayern Munich side that just set a Bundesliga record in goals. That they're going to get numbers forward, they're going to get their chances, but they're also going to give up chances as well. So having someone who can be that anchor in the middle is going to be massive.
And it will allow Trent Alexander-Arnold to go forward with more impunity than without. So I think that you need that extra man in defensive transition.
In the first leg, Madrid had the most counter-attacks they've ever had in one match in a single season. This season, sorry. Do you not expect to see that again today?
I mean, absolutely. Bayern Munich, for as good as they are offensively, and we had talked about this, who were two of the most underwhelming players in that first leg from a Bayern side, would you say?
I'd say fullbacks. We never saw Real Madrid's fullbacks get taken apart, did we, in the game? Because we expected, because their wingers cut inside and it allows space for the fullbacks. Never saw that in the game at all. Didn't see that at all. Well, who were you going to say?
I was going to say the two center backs for Bayern Munich. I thought for as bad and as exposed from the fullback position from a Bayern Munich side, their weakest point for me, if I'm Kylian Mbappe, if I'm the likes of Vinny Jr., get after the two fullbacks, and we're going to see the lineups of how both these two sides.
In the first league, I didn't know they got at their fullbacks particularly.
Sorry, the two center backs.
Yeah, centre backs. Yeah, fullbacks.
Center backs.
They're never exposed. Not really.
If we look at the projected starting 11s, I think to note out, Bellingham, Mbappe and Vinny, they're all on yellow cards. If they get another yellow card, they'll be suspended for the semi-finals if they were to make it. Jeff, do you think that will change how they approach this game, Real Madrid, or how they play today?
Well, it won't affect how Real Madrid play. It affects the individuals. It's a really, really horrible one for players because you can't go in with a handbrake on, especially in a knockout tie. All you can really do is you take away the licence to do something stupid in terms of a bit of ill discipline, maybe dissent, something like that. You have that in your mind, but you've got to play the way you normally play. So they should be able to play, but you know, football's an emotional game, Hannah. It doesn't help, but I don't think they can afford to think about it going into the game.
Yeah, I don't think they'll think about it one click, right? World Cup winner, who's played a ton of games, Champions League winner, there's experience there. Just 2 lineup decisions. Ferland Mendy coming in is going to be massive, and you'd mentioned fullbacks. I mean, Carragher may have just ended his stint as a starter for Real Madrid in that left-back position, and Jamal Musiala as well. I know a lot of Bayern fans, and we're going to see one in buckets, who are waiting for this moment for him. Serge Gnabry with a knock, questions about his health. Musiala getting a performance is massive for Bayern, but even bigger for Germany.
Last 2 semi-final places are going to be decided. Bayern bringing a 1-goal lead back to Munich, but finishing the job against Real Madrid in the Champions League is certainly never easy. And over at the Emirates, Arsenal look to stop the bleeding against Sporting. They're 1-0 up from that first leg. The stakes really do feel very high for Arsenal in that game, Thierry.
Yeah, it is. And if you're Sporting, if you see the way Man City played Arsenal and the way Bournemouth played Arsenal at the weekend, the way they went to put pressure in that 4-2-4, early doors, Arsenal did not have an answer on how to step out from that. So I don't know what Sporting is going to do tomorrow, but yes, it is very important for the Arsenal to be able to win the game and make sure that they can prepare the game that we're all waiting for, to see what time it is. Because for a very long time, I wasn't even focusing on Bournemouth. Even before the win or the Bournemouth winning, obviously, I wasn't focusing on that. I wanted that game. If I was a player, I want to win at City. I want to make a statement. You want to make a statement. You have an opportunity to do that. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but that's what I'm waiting for.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, quickly, I've got 2 things. Can we just say big, massive shout out to Helen, the director.
Oh,
today.
yes.
Absolutely.
She didn't drop the ball
flawless.
tonight.
She's
She was so good.
absolutely brilliant. After the pressure that you put on her. But that's not the only thing. Talking of high quality nights, come on, roll red, please, because I want to show you something here. Look at this. Carragher, Wigan, back post, assist, rolls like a salmon, assist of the night. Absolutely outstanding stuff. My favourite Carragher on a great night for them that keeps them in the lead. Go on, the boys.
Go on the Ticks.
Can we also say a very happy birthday to our beloved Emily? Helps us all.
Emily, happy birthday.
Emily, love you.
Happy birthday.
So much. And that's it, everybody. We are going to be back tomorrow. We've got 2 more quarterfinals for you. No, we got anything else? Any other business? Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Just figure out where we are now. PSG through 4-0 on aggregate in the end against Liverpool. They're going to play either Bayern Munich or Real Madrid. And then on the other side of the draw, you've got Atletico book their place in the semi-finals. And we'll find out tomorrow who they play. Arsenal, who are 1-0 up against Sporting at the moment, have a chance to make the semi-finals too. As it stands, let's just have a look at PSG first. I mean, either one of those fixtures, if it's Bayern or Real Madrid, is going to be blockbuster.
Yeah, and it's not the team you want to face in form, playing exceptionally well, PSG. But I do see Bayern going through against Real Madrid. I think they have too much collectively. I think the stars will step up for Madrid, but it won't have enough.
Yeah.
And what about Atletico Madrid against Arsenal or Sporting? Should Arsenal fans be confident, Joe, do you think?
Arsenal fans should be very, very confident. They knew they was on the plum side of the draw. The league is one entity. I think tomorrow they'll turn up and they'll perform and they'll go through. In a tough game against a very good Lisbon team, and I think a semi-final against what we saw tonight, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal were a lot stronger in so many different areas. The only thing that Atletico have got against them is the experience of being in and around. Just Simeone's a massive part of that. Oblak's a massive part of that. Koke's a massive part of that. If they can, it's going to be. It's going to be
in big moments.
Big moments. Like tonight.
They're more used to being in big moments and handling big situations
occasions.
in pressure.
Yeah, big occasions, bigger games. They're used to that as a collective, as a club, the fan base, the players. So yeah, I think that's a tougher game than the Barcelona game for me.
Really?
I think the styles of play. I think the way that Barca plays, we've seen over the 2 legs. I think they open up and allow you to attack.
The reason I have Adam Lipperman on the mind is because I've just been writing down, Joe, that you were such a massive fan of him in general, but especially in that Atalanta Europa League final.
Well, he's a London lad. He's from Wandsworth, and I like the fact that he's gone and been all around Europe in his career, and he does. Every time I watch him play, he plays with a joy, he plays with a freedom, and you just really enjoyed. And the fact tonight he's put himself in Atletico Madrid folklore with a massive, massive goal. But yeah, big up Adamola.
Tonight's your lucky night, because we're going to hear from him now, because he's speaking with Becky I. OK, there we go, a little bit from Adamola Lookman. He's got a big semi-final coming up in the Champions League. If you guys had to put your money somewhere, would you say that Atletico could make it all the way to the finals? You're nodding your head, go on.
I just believe that's a tougher game for Arsenal. I don't say Arsenal can't win. I just think it's a tougher opponent, and the way they play is going to make them stop a little bit.
Joe?
I think Arsenal can beat Atletico. It can obviously go either way. It's a semi-final, they're both quality, but I think Arsenal are a better team.
You've also, look, Arsenal have got to get through Sporting Lisbon, and the fortress is not a fortress at the Emirates anymore. And it is also a very highly pressured moment in Arsenal season, guys, isn't it? Could you see them crumbling?
Well, yeah, obviously. I believe they go through. I believe they beat Sporting. But then off the back of the weekend's fixture against City, then who knows how that derails them if they don't get the points needed there. So, yeah, it's a pivotal moment for Arsenal over the next couple of weeks.
What do you think, Joe?
Of Champions League, Arsenal, I think they can get to the final. And I don't think they can beat... In a final, anything can happen, but if you can ask me where I would put my money, I would back Bayern Munich or PSG to beat Arsenal in the final, but only just... But I do think Arsenal... I think a tide will turn at Arsenal soon, and I've backed them all the way for the league, and I still think they'll win the league.
OK. Guys, thank you very much. You've been excellent company. I thoroughly enjoyed it tonight, and actually, in the end, we were treated to a very good game.
Yep, it's Numbers Don't Lie, powered by SofaScore here on CBS Sports Golazos. Now it's time for the Oracle. This is a fun little bit, Jeff. We haven't seen a lot of these things that are coming up in this segment, including trivia, so stick around until the very end. And even if you're watching on YouTube, chime in and let us know what you guys think. The Oracle, our SoFi score that will predict the possibility of comebacks in these Champions League quarterfinals. So without further ado, let's take... All right, the Oracle, what do they think about Real Madrid against Bayern, or shall I say Bayern against Real Madrid? 2-2 final result. The Kings of Europe are no stranger to comeback stories, but the deficit is going to be a lot in Munich. Neuer turned back the clock at the Bernabeu with 9 saves, another vintage performance, plus a couple goals from their star-studded attacking trio will be enough for Bayern to get through. A 2-2 draw after extra time, though, to send Bayern through 4-3 on aggregate. Oh, that's the nugget right there.
Nice little twist.
Okay.
Right.
Spicier than I thought.
I think it might be a little bit more comfortable. I really did not want this. I was hoping the cards fell differently. I've now got Arsenal, wobbling Arsenal, at home to Sporting. What does the Oracle say Arsenal are going to do? Woo! It's all line out for Arsenal in the Champions League. It is, to be fair, they're on the right side of the bracket. The Gunners are taking lead back to North London. They've only lost twice all season. Sporting's underdog run ends at the Emirates. Mikel Arteta's trophy hunt is still on. The Oracle sees a 2-0 Arsenal win to advance 3-0 on aggregate. I don't see that at all. I think Arsenal will go through, but they're going to limp over the line 1-1, and they'll be hanging on for the last 15 minutes of this game. They'll go through, but I don't...
Phil, you were commentating on the game, kind of same old from Real. Exactly what we've seen recently, so inconsistent.
It was quite taxing for me to commentate this game.
Very good.
It was. Listen, it was the same old from Real Madrid. Again, a game where they actually started okay in this game. There's quite a lot of intensity. First 10, 15 minutes, they did pretty well. You know, the first half, it wasn't awful from Real Madrid. But the second half, there wasn't enough from them. It was like last week against Mallorca with the league title on the line, with not enough commitment shown from the players. And tonight it was slightly strange. It was not enough commitment in a different kind of way, because they created chances. They had 22 shots in this game, 9 shots on target. But it was like in the final third, they lacked the clarity and they lacked the capacity to make the right decisions. They had some really good openings here, and it was just a bit lackadaisical from Real Madrid, almost like they weren't aware of the magnitude of this game. They've given up any chance of winning the league title, and they've done it with a whimper, really. And I think that's what's going to be, well, I don't know if it's most disappointing for Real Madrid fans, because it's been a very disappointing season, but that's definitely going to be disappointing. You know, the Bernabeu at the final whistle, there were some whistles, there was jeers, they weren't happy, but it was kind of just resigned. It was like, yeah, okay, well, that's it now. It's done. And what this does mean is that it is all on the Champions League now for Real Madrid. They won nothing last season. They're out of the domestic cup competition. They lost the Spanish Super Cup. They're not going to win the league. It is all on the Champions League to make sure they don't go back-to-back trophyless seasons, which is a catastrophe for a club like Real Madrid.
But Phil, are you surprised then that they go with their strongest team in this game? Because Bellingham comes back from injury. He starts in this game. Eder Militao starts giving him a go to potentially get full 90 minutes fit again. But otherwise, it was the team that I imagine will start in that game against Bayern in the second leg. Having played on Tuesday, you're surprised there wasn't more rotation? And really, they kind of seem resigned in both competitions.
Yeah, maybe. I think, there's enough time between they play Friday night to Wednesday for them to recover physically, but I guess you run the risk of injuries. You're seeing the starting 11 here. The idea is that Eduardo Camavinga replaces Tchouaméni, who is suspended for that second leg against Bayern Munich on Wednesday night, and Bellingham and Valverde with Brahim coming in. That was the idea that they had, and I guess the notion was today, try and test that out, and it was a dry run for Munich, which didn't turn out particularly well. Trent was given the night off. He wasn't even on the substitutes bench. Likewise, Rudiger, likewise Carragher as well. So they were just given the night off. And I guess the idea was to, see if we can get in the mood and get these players playing together for Munich. And you'll see that starting 11. It should be good enough. And I think there are bright spots as well in this performance from Real Madrid. I thought Brahim did pretty well. I think Bellingham continues to looking to get back to his best. I thought Dani Carvajal looks completely fully fit and ready for a starting spot as well. So those were some potential bright spots in what was another really underwhelming performance from Real Madrid.
Phil, Ian and I had a discussion after the Champions League game, the first leg, about whether or not there is a way back for Real Madrid to cause an upset and get past Bayern Munich. And I would say, I don't necessarily believe this is the case, but I was saying that there's always a chance with a side like Real Madrid when they've got these Galacticos, star players, Vinny Jr., Kylian Mbappe, Bellingham, some of the others, that they can create a bolt from the blue and just win the game on their own. An individual can win them the game. But at the moment, Real Madrid don't seem to have those individual performances. Can you see that happening?
Yeah. Well, I agree with you, and I agree with your assessment, and I'm quite happy to be disagreeing with what Ian was saying. I agree with what you were saying, because they do have the level of player that is good enough to create a moment of brilliance and then to be able to win a game. But as you were just pointing out very clearly, Adam, the big players aren't performing. Kylian Mbappe tonight had some really good chances which he didn't take. He's gone 4 league games without scoring, Kylian Mbappe. And I know strikers go through dry spells, but he shouldn't be going through these kind of dry spells against quite limited opponents or low-key La Liga opponents. He has been unable to find the back of the net despite having some really good chances. Vinny tonight was one-dimensional. He was trying, but it was the same old thing, which was well read by his markers. And so when there isn't that individual spark, it's the same old story. There is no collective plan for Real Madrid. Players start drifting and playing in all sorts of different positions, popping up all over the pitch, trying to make something happen. And then nothing happened. And if there isn't that individual brilliance, then they really struggle. And that has been a theme for Real Madrid. And for something to happen in Munich, you need those big players to be coming into this game absolutely flying. And Vinny isn't flying, and Kylian Mbappe certainly isn't flying.
Very quickly, because I want to ask about Fede Valverde. Do you think it was a penalty in that last-minute incident with Girona where the center-back throws an elbow up and it catches Mbappe?
I think it could have been given. I thought it was going to be looked at. I was doing it with my co-commentator, and we were looking at the challenge. He was looking at the challenge on Mbappe's legs, and he thought it was a penalty. And I was looking at the elbow in his face, and I thought, oh, that could be looked at. So yeah, I kind of expected him to go and have a look at it at the monitor, but he didn't. It wasn't given. Real Madrid have got out of jail a few times this season with penalties, and tonight it didn't happen. I thought it was probably going to be given, but it wasn't. And I don't think they didn't deserve to win the game tonight. And obviously, penalties are given if a foul is committed, not because if someone deserves to win a game or not. But I thought it would have been a real get out of jail card for Real Madrid, because again, it wasn't it wasn't a performance worthy of a victory.